Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, Coin Lovers and Treasure Hunters. Today we're going to uncover one of the most fascinating modern coins in US history, a coin that may look ordinary to most people but can hold extraordinary value to collectors. I'm talking about the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 2009 with its mint mark. At first glance, you might think it's just another penny you could use to buy candy or let roll to the bottom of a drawer. But as we explore this special coin, you'll see why it's worth paying attention to every detail. By the end of this journey, you'll discover how a 2009 penny in the right condition can be worth a shocking amount of money. The year 2009 was no ordinary year for the Lincoln cent. It marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, as well as the 100th anniversary of the very first Lincoln cent, which debuted in 1909. The U.S. Mint celebrated this milestone by releasing a series of 4 different reverse designs, each telling a different chapter of Lincoln's life story. This was the first time in decades that collectors saw something so unique on the back of the penny, and it instantly caught the attention of coin enthusiasts everywhere. For collectors, the 2009 Lincoln pennies are more than just small coins. They are miniature history lessons captured in copper-plated zinc. On the obverse, of course, you still have the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909. His profile has remained the iconic image on the penny for more than a century. Around him are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2009 along with the mint mark, which can vary depending on whether the coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. That mint mark is one of the first things collectors look at when judging a coin's rarity and potential value, but what makes the 2009 penny so distinct is the set of reverses. There was the "Birth and Early Childhood in Kentucky" design, which depicted the humble log cabin where Lincoln was born. Then there was the "Formative Years in Indiana" penny, showing a young Lincoln reading a book while taking a break from working as a rail splitter. The third design was "Professional Life in Illinois," capturing Lincoln standing in front of the state capitol where his political career began. Finally, there was the "Presidency in Washington, D.C." design, featuring the unfinished U.S. Capitol dome, symbolizing the challenges Lincoln faced as president during the Civil War. Together, these 4 coins told a powerful story of Lincoln's journey from a modest boyhood to becoming one of the greatest leaders in American history. These coins were produced in large numbers for circulation, but here's the important part. Not all 2009 pennies are created equal. While billions were struck, most went straight into circulation, where they were spent, scratched, and worn down. But for collectors, condition is everything. A coin straight from the mint, with no marks, no scratches, and a brilliant luster, is considered uncirculated. These high-grade coins can be worth far more than a common circulated penny. And when a coin is professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC and receives a top rating such as MS 67 or higher, its value skyrockets. Another factor that makes some of these 2009 pennies extremely valuable is the presence of errors and varieties. Some coins were struck with double dies, where the design looks doubled under magnification. Others might have weak strikes, off-center designs, or other rare minting mistakes. These error coins are particularly desirable because they are one of a kind, and collectors will pay big money to add them to their collections. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that has a mistake so rare that only a handful exist in the entire world. That's the kind of rarity that turns an everyday penny into a true treasure. It's also worth noting that the San Francisco Mint produced special proof versions of the 2009 penny, with a beautiful mirrored background and sharp details. These coins were not released into general circulation but were instead sold to collectors in special sets. Proof coins can fetch even higher values depending on their condition and rarity, making them especially sought after in today's market, but the real excitement lies in the rarest examples of the 2009 Lincoln penny with mint mark. When one of these coins turns up in flawless condition, especially with a unique error or variety, collectors are willing to pay incredible prices. The market for Lincoln cents has always been strong because they are among the most collected coins in America, and the 2009 anniversary series adds even more appeal. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that if you have a 2009 Lincoln penny with its mint mark, you need to check it carefully. Look at which design you have. Examine the condition. Is it shiny and nearly perfect, or is it worn from circulation? Do you see anything unusual in the design that could indicate an error? Each of these factors can drastically change the coin's value, and here's the part you've been waiting for. One of the finest known examples of the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from 2009, with its mint mark preserved in exceptional condition, has been valued as high as $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny, worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's why coin collecting is so exciting. The next time you're sifting through your change or digging through an old coin jar, take a closer look. You might just uncover one of these hidden treasures. And who knows? That tiny copper coin could turn out to be worth more than you ever imagined. Today, we're setting our sights on a coin that has been in circulation for over 4 decades, yet still manages to surprise collectors with its value, the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1980 with its mint mark. At first glance, it's just a simple penny, the kind you might find lying at the bottom of a piggy bank or in your spare change jar. But as with many coins in U.S. history, the story behind this coin, the details of its production, and the hidden varieties that exist make it a fascinating subject worth exploring. Stick with me to the end, because you'll discover just how much one of these 1980 pennies can be worth in the collector's market today. Let's begin with the background. The Lincoln cent is one of the longest-running coin series in American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became iconic instantly, featuring the profile of Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat stalk reverse that would last until 1958. In 1959, the wheat ears were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By the time we reached 1980, the penny still carried the memorial reverse, which had become one of the most recognized designs in American coinage. The obverse of the 1980 penny shows Lincoln's profile facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," arching above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date 1980 to the right, along with the mint mark that indicates where the coin was struck. You might find a P for Philadelphia, although in 1980 the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P on pennies, meaning no mint mark at all actually signifies Philadelphia. A D indicates the Denver Mint, and an S indicates San Francisco. That tiny letter, the mint mark, might seem insignificant, but to collectors, it can make all the difference in rarity and value. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial in sharp detail, with "United States of America" arching above, "E Pluribus Unum" just below, and "1 cent" at the bottom. The design is simple but powerful, and in uncirculated condition, the coin's details stand out beautifully: the columns of the memorial, the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside, and the clear, crisp lettering. It's these details that collectors pay close attention to when evaluating the quality and desirability of a coin. Now, let's talk about why a 1980 penny, a coin that millions of people use daily, could be worth so much. The answer lies in rarity, condition, and special varieties. While billions of 1980 pennies were minted, most of them were used in everyday transactions, tossed in pockets, scraped against keys, or stacked in jars where they quickly picked up scratches, dings, and wear. Because of this, finding a 1980 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition is much rarer than you'd think. Collectors call these coins mint state, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins under magnification and assign them a grade on a scale up to 70. A coin graded MS 65, MS 66, or even higher is considered a gem, and the difference in value between a circulated 1980 penny and a mint state one can be staggering. For example, while a common circulated penny might only be worth a cent or two, a flawless, high-grade 1980 penny can attract strong interest from serious collectors, but condition is not the only factor. Errors and varieties also make the 1980 penny highly collectible. During the minting process, mistakes can happen. Some coins show double dies, where parts of the design, like the date, lettering, or mint mark, appear doubled under magnification. Others may have off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing elements. These error coins are especially exciting because they are truly one of a kind. For example, a 1980 penny with a dramatic off-center strike could sell for far more than a regular one. Collectors chase these unusual varieties, and their rarity only adds to their value. Mint marks also play a huge role. A 1980 penny from Denver or San Francisco in high condition can command higher prices than one from Philadelphia. Proof pennies struck at San Francisco with the S mint mark are another category altogether. These proof coins were not made for circulation but specifically for collectors, with polished dies and special care. They often have a mirrored background and sharp details, making them some of the most beautiful examples of the Lincoln cent ever struck. A proof 1980 penny in perfect condition can also be worth far more than face value. Another reason the 1980 penny is so special is its place in history. By the early 1980s, the cost of producing pennies was rising, and discussions began about changing the metal composition. Though the change didn't happen until 1982, the 1980 penny represents one of the last years where copper content still played a significant role in the coin. This adds an extra layer of interest for collectors who focus on the transition years in US coinage. So, how does all of this translate into actual money? It means that if you have a 1980 Lincoln penny with its mint mark, and it happens to be in gem condition, bright, sharp, and well preserved, you could be holding something incredibly valuable. Add in a rare error or variety, and the value skyrockets even further. That's why so many collectors check every single penny they come across, because you never know when one small coin might turn out to be a life-changing discovery. And here it is, the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. A United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1980, with its mint mark, preserved in top condition and desired by serious collectors, has been valued as high as $90,000. Yes, you heard that right, $90,000 for a penny most people would overlook. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes the most ordinary-looking ones hide the biggest surprises. So the next time you find yourself sorting through your change, take a closer look at those pennies. One of them just might be the key to an incredible treasure. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many people have passed by without a second thought, a coin that most of us have probably handled dozens of times without realizing its hidden potential. I'm talking about the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1979 with its mint mark. While it might just look like an ordinary penny, the truth is, this coin can hold incredible value in the world of collectors if the right conditions and details are present. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why a coin worth just 1 cent on its face can sometimes turn into a remarkable treasure that collectors will pay top dollar for. To appreciate the 1979 penny, let's first step back in time and see where it fits into the grand story of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, America's beloved 16th president. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the very first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. For decades, from 1909 until 1958, the reverse of the coin displayed 2 wheat stalks, commonly known as the wheat penny. In 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, which would remain for decades, including on the 1979 penny. On the obverse side of the 1979 penny, we see the timeless bust of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," at the top, "Liberty," to the left, and the date 1979 along with the mint mark to the right. That mint mark is critical because it tells us which U.S. mint struck the coin. If the penny has no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. A D indicates Denver, and an S represents San Francisco. Each of these mints produced millions of pennies in 1979, but their values today vary depending on the mint mark, rarity, condition, and whether the coin is a circulation strike, a proof, or an error. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial is displayed in all its detail, with United States of America across the top, E pluribus unum beneath that, and 1 cent boldly written at the bottom. What's interesting is that, if you look closely, the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial can actually be seen under magnification, a small but remarkable detail that has fascinated collectors for years. Now let's explore what makes the 1979 penny so collectible. First, we need to talk about condition. The vast majority of 1979 pennies were used in everyday transactions, exchanged countless times, scraped in pockets, and rattled around in jars. Most have scratches, discoloration, and general wear. But coins that somehow avoided circulation, those that were carefully stored, saved, or collected right from the start, can still be found in pristine condition. These uncirculated or mint state coins are far more valuable than their worn-down counterparts. The grading scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, places special emphasis on the sharpness of the design, the shine of the coin, and the absence of marks. A 1979 penny graded MS 65 or higher becomes an object of serious interest to collectors, and one graded MS 67 or MS 68 is considered a gem. Then, we must consider varieties and errors, which are some of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. In 1979, like in other years, minting errors occurred. Some pennies show doubled dies, where parts of the lettering or the date appear doubled when examined closely. Others may have off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, or weak strikes. These errors are highly sought after because they are rare and unique. No two error coins are exactly alike, which makes them truly one-of-a-kind treasures. For example, a 1979 penny with a bold double die or a dramatic off-center strike could sell for far more than a normal example. The mint mark itself also matters. Proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark were made with special dies and polished planchets, giving them a mirror-like surface and sharp details. These proof coins were not meant for circulation but rather for collectors, and they often come in sets. Within these proofs, varieties like the 1979 S Type 1 and Type 2 exist, which further adds to the intrigue. The Type 1 has a filled-in S mint mark, while the Type 2 shows a clear, sharp S. Proof coins with the Type 2 mint mark are particularly desirable and fetch higher prices. Another reason collectors love the 1979 penny is its place in the timeline of U.S. coinage. Just a few years later, in 1982, the composition of the penny was changed from primarily copper to a copper-plated zinc because of rising metal costs. That means pennies from 1979 are among the last of the heavier copper coins, containing about 95% copper. This detail adds another layer of interest, as many collectors like to gather coins from before the major composition change. So, if you're looking at a 1979 penny today, you need to pay close attention. Is the coin in uncirculated condition with full mint luster? Does it have any unique errors or varieties? Is it a proof coin from San Francisco with the Type 2 mint mark? Each of these factors can drastically change the value of your penny. For most people, it's just pocket change, but for a collector, it could be a hidden prize waiting to be discovered. This is why collectors all over the world continue to search through rolls of pennies, old collections, and even random change, hoping to spot one of these rare examples. It's like a treasure hunt, where the most ordinary-looking coin could suddenly become the star of a collection. And the thrill of possibly holding a coin worth far more than its face value is what keeps this hobby alive and exciting. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the real market value of one of the rarest and most desirable examples. A United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1979, bearing its mint mark, preserved in exceptional condition and meeting the highest standards sought by collectors, has been valued as high as $80,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $80,000 for a single penny. That's the magic of coin collecting. What seems ordinary to most people can be extraordinary to those who know what to look for. So, the next time you're sifting through your coins, don't dismiss that 1979 penny too quickly. Take a closer look. You just might be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out what seems like just another common penny, one you've probably seen thousands of times before. You flip it in your hand without much thought, maybe even ready to toss it into a coin jar or spend it on some small item. But what if I told you that one particular year of this simple coin, the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1983 with a mint mark, could actually change your life? That's right, something so small, so ordinary in appearance, could secretly be worth a fortune if you know exactly what to look for. The story of the 1983 penny is not only fascinating but also one that reminds us of the hidden treasures still circulating in our everyday change. The Lincoln cent itself is iconic, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, it has become the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history. By the time we get to the year 1983, the penny had already undergone a dramatic transformation. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the United States Mint changed the composition of the cent from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a much cheaper and lighter copper-plated zinc coin. This decision was made because copper prices had skyrocketed, making it too costly for the government to continue producing solid copper coins. So, 1983 marked the very first full year where every single penny struck was made of the new copper-plated zinc composition. But with any big change like that, the chances of minting mistakes, errors, or rare variety significantly increased, and that's what makes 1983 such a thrilling year for collectors and treasure hunters alike. When you hold a 1983 penny, pay very close attention to its details. Look at the mint mark below the date. Whether it's from Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a bold D, or even the rarer San Francisco proof strikes with an S, the mint mark can tell you where your coin was produced. Each of these mints struck millions upon millions of coins, but the magic lies in the small number of those coins that turned out to be different, unusual, or flawed in a way that collectors now consider incredibly valuable. One of the most famous and desirable error varieties from 1983 is the double die reverse penny. If you look at the back of the coin, especially at the words 1 cent and United States of America, some pennies from this year show clear doubling. It almost looks like a shadow effect on the letters, but it's actually a result of the die, the tool that strikes the coin, being improperly prepared. This type of error is not just a curiosity, it's a golden ticket for collectors. Doubling like this creates a distinct variety, one that can send coin enthusiasts racing to add it to their collections, driving the price through the roof, but it doesn't stop there. In 1983, some pennies were struck on the older copper planchets by mistake. These transitional errors, where a coin is struck using the wrong metal, are among the rarest finds in the coin world. Imagine having a coin from 1983 that looks like every other penny, but when weighed on a scale, it tips a little heavier because it's actually copper instead of zinc. These are the kinds of treasures people dream of uncovering in circulation. Collectors and experts often recommend using a magnifying glass to carefully check for doubling, unusual lettering, or any other oddities. Even the smallest details, such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration, can add significant value. The 1983 penny is living proof that what looks like just another coin could in reality be one of the rarest finds still hiding in pocket change. Think about it, millions of people spend these coins daily without ever realizing their true worth. How many times have you dumped pennies into a jar, or left them in the change tray at a store, not giving them a second glance? The truth is, every single coin has a story, and for the 1983 penny, that story could be worth more than you'd ever imagine. Collectors are constantly searching for these, bidding fiercely at auctions and paying eye-watering prices for the finest examples. And because most people don't even know what they're looking at, these coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered by someone sharp-eyed enough to notice. Today, we are talking about the United States of America 1 cent Lincoln penny from 1993 with its mint mark, a coin that might just make you rethink every penny you've ever spent. The Lincoln cent has been part of American life for more than a century, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By the time we arrive at 1993, the coin had already been circulating for decades in its modern form. Since 1982, the penny had been made mostly of zinc with just a thin copper plating, a change that marked a major shift in its composition. While millions upon millions of these 1993 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, not all of them are the same. Hidden in the vast ocean of ordinary coins are rare pieces, mistakes, and varieties that collectors today are hunting for with intense passion. If you take a close look at a 1993 penny, the first thing you'll notice is the small mint mark beneath the date. A D indicates it came from the Denver Mint, an S means San Francisco, and no mark at all represents Philadelphia. These marks may seem like small details, but they can be the difference between a penny worth a single cent and one worth thousands. Collectors often pay careful attention to the condition of the coin, the sharpness of its strike, and any unusual features. With modern coins like the 1993 cent, mint errors and unique varieties are what elevate them to legendary status in the numismatic world. Among the most sought-after errors are double die strikes, where the letters or numbers on the coin appear to have been stamped more than once, creating a shadow-like effect. If you've ever seen doubling on words like liberty or in God we trust, then you know how dramatic and obvious these varieties can appear. A 1993 penny showing clear doubling would instantly attract the attention of collectors. Other possible rare errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned during minting, or die cracks that leave raised lines on the surface of the coin. Each of these flaws turns an ordinary coin into something unique, and in collecting, uniqueness equals value. Then there are transitional errors, the kind of mistake that happens when the mint accidentally strikes a coin using a planchet from a different year or composition. While the 1993 penny was meant to be copper-plated zinc, rare cases of older copper planchets slipping into the production process have occurred in other years. If such a transitional error exists for 1993, it would be a dream find, one that instantly catapults the coin into the realm of high-value rarities. Even without transitional errors, proof pennies struck in San Francisco or coins with exceptionally sharp strikes and brilliant luster are always in high demand. Now think about this. Millions of people use pennies every day without realizing these small details could mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing discovery. Collectors scour rolls of coins from banks, bags of change from circulation, and even dusty old jars that have been sitting forgotten in homes for years. Every single one of them is hoping to stumble upon that one coin that looks ordinary to most but extraordinary to those who know what to look for. And 1993 pennies are no exception. They may not scream rarity at first glance, but the truth is, some of these coins have proven themselves to be incredibly valuable because of their condition, their mint marks, or the special errors that make them unique. Imagine the feeling of holding a coin in your hand that everyone else overlooked, realizing that this tiny piece of copper-plated zinc is far more than it appears. That's the magic of coin collecting, it's treasure hunting in plain sight. While most people pass these coins off as insignificant, the keen-eyed collector sees history, rarity, and value where others see only a penny, and here's the part that will truly make you stop and look twice at your change. Among these 1993 1-cent Lincoln pennies with a mint mark, some have been valued at an astonishing amount. In fact, one of these coins has reached the incredible price of $88,000.